lot of fans for Life Esports as well. By the way, there are multiple couples which we actually highlighted that one of them is rooting for Life and then the other one is rooting for T1. And they're like, oh, Zeka versus Faker.
Drama.
This team versus that team. Of course we're going to win. Lots of signs like that. And we might just have 680 carry bans at this point. I mean, plus Yumi, I guess.
Hey, if at this point, maybe Yumi gets played in solo lane as well. I don't even know anymore.
Sure.
The shenanigans have increased tenfold after, I think even the pros got kind of bored with just handshaking every single time with a double bot lane and jungle pickup. Heimerdinger gonna get taken away. Elise also taken off the board, meaning that a early pickup on the Zeri is a possibility here if Life do want to go in that direction. Gotta be the Varus instead. It's been very popular as well. Maokai still open, can get picked up for Oner here. As T1 already throwing the book out of the window, and Zeus saying, this is my...
Where's that going,
Chronicler? This is my most iconic champion. Well, I'm gonna assume Zeus, but this is obviously still a flex. Can also go to Faker. And who knows, maybe Keria plays a mean Jace. I'm sure he does.
I'm sure you would have a lot of lane priority with a Jace support.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Let's see it. But yeah, like you said, probably going to be for Zeus just because it is Zeus, right? Like, that's his most iconic pick. And we did have 6. Well, I suppose 5. Bot lane bans plus Elise. As we're just going to pick kind of for the top side. They take the Varus, and then Cassante and Maokai come through for Life.
And for T1, wondering if they're going to lock in an AD carry or if they're going to rely on their, again, very deep champion pools. The benefit of T1 in its current state is that an R5 counter pick for Keria actually is insanely strong. His flexibility allows them to throw big curveballs, as now Faker gets to lock in the Kassadin here and then get to ban away a few counters, because this is obviously a champion that can run into some real issues, into some of the more aggressive AD solo lanes, like, before I finish my sentence, it already gets taken off the table, Leone.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the singular AD mid you would go for. Could consider like a Ryze ban as well. Ryze having some pretty nice lane priority from the matchup there. As now the Draven's getting banned. Obviously T1 didn't pick their AD carry yet, or did they? Is it just Jace? So Draven's going to get taken off the board. That's a big Gumayusi pick. You know, if we throw the book out of the window of the quote-unquote new meta, these are a lot of picks that are just Guma picks, right? The Kate, the Draven comes out. Kind of standard stuff.
T1 also going to pick fully in order, which I respect and appreciate, as the Nautilus is going to get taken away. Nautilus Varus obviously quite strong. And overall, the composition from Life has a substantial amount of CC already. Nautilus would really add to that. As you're probably looking to R4 your AD here for T1. And then what? You do have a great top side already. You have double melee with the Sejuani. As long as you can make sure that Faker gets through the early game safely, T1 already looking to have a lot of power here. Karma gets taken away, so Ezreal Karma no longer on the table.
Look at this, Guma's he's not talking, he's listening. He's like, what should I pick you for the top lane? How about a Jax? Ziggs, okay. The beginning of, once again,
okay, if this is actually...
Ziggs is coming back.
We were joking earlier about Ziggs support, right?
Yeah.
So I assume this is just Gumayusi locking in Ziggs. I love Ziggs. I think it's a pick that has really been underappreciated recently. We saw it in quite a while. We have seen it rather for quite a while last year as well. It was good for a period. Very popular into the Aphelios, for example. Gonna see it into the Varus now, as that is a very, very aggressive counter to the Kassadin in the Aurelia. Apparently, Ziggs Pipe was played in Challengers today, as we are being told by our production. So maybe a double whammy here. Both get a very strong hook champion that can put a lot of pressure on the Ziggs, who of course doesn't have a dash, and also take away a possible combo, because we do know Keria loves his pike.
A Mumu.
His
Rakan.
Oh.
Haven't seen this guy for a little bit here at the LCK. That sign asks, okay, what is Keria going to pick today? Could be this Jhin support. Could be the answer for him. It seems like he, saw a couple of small head nods. It's like looking at the coach like, can I do it? Can I play Twitch? No, he's going to play Jhin. I would assume this is for Keria.
Taking the teleport into account, yeah, I feel safe to say that they won't swap. So full draft from T1 here, completely done in order. So no surprises there. For our live, the Rakan kind of means that you're gonna fault lane, barring some crazy all-in angles early that you might find if Clip pays any attention towards the bot side of the map. But do note that their mid game for Hanwha is exceptional. I do think they might be lacking some damage in the later stage of the game due to them being overwhelmingly AD damage, and obviously if you're into late game against Kassadin and Ziggs, you're in trouble. And the Jace really helps as well with this composition, because otherwise you might run the risk of being way too heavily invested in terms of the AP damage. So overall, T1's draft, I can see it backfire. I think it's hard to play a double pretty stationary bot lane into the amount of CC and damage threats that are available for Hanwha Live, but this is T1. So I'll probably make it work, Velbus.
Oh.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's really cool.
So well done.
Wow. Very cool art style.
And then we have the little...
Is that Faker there?
the POG with the hearts.
Oh, I was just looking at Faker there in the middle.
Oh.
I think he's
Could be.
Penguin? I guess so.
Emperor Penguin?
Maybe.
Could be.
I like that. Zeka's on Irelia. This could be a very interesting one. Comp's out the door, in the lane. Maybe Zeka's just able to pull a closer. He's definitely one of the guys that would love this kind of a matchup every day of the week. This is what he lives for as a player. But very interesting comps here once again from both sides. Let's jump onto the rift here for Game 1. Here we go, game number 1 of what could be a very fun and interesting series with lots of weird picks. Will T1 just 2-0 it again today? Note that they are, it is possible to beat them. We did see that DK was able to take a game off of them in their series, and it looked quite strong. DK obviously a very strong team, but
even KT did. Remember that?
Yeah, even KT was able to. So I think there absolutely is a chance here for Hanwha Life Esports, if they have a good game, to come out and take a win.
I actually really like the Hanwha Life draft into what T1 has, because T1 really is a poke comp with then a Kassadin flavor, right? It's a little twist at the end there, allows them to...
He just pokes with his body.
I guess, yeah. Well, the rest of the team pokes so that he can reach level 16, hopefully. Because what you have for T1 here is Jace, Ziggs, and especially the Jhin support is mainly going to be focused around getting first the objectives and then poking down the Hanwha Life comp before they can actually hard engage. And the reason why, if it's not T1, I would favor the Hanwha Life comp is I think that their comp is really straightforward. You see T1, and then you press like 2 of your buttons out of the 5 or 3 or 4, and then you run in, and then you kill them. And post 16, right? When Kassadin really becomes strong, everyone on T1 will have a lot of damage, sure, but they will also be squishy, and they will be very susceptible to getting dove by a Maokai, by an Irelia, by an Rakan jumping on top of them. But if T1 play this out in any way... Oh, yeah, I haven't even...
Oh, no! Is he just dead? Oh, my God!
Come on!
2 minutes and 22 seconds. Just mark it.
As I was saying... if you never get to play the game because your laning phase gets completely gapped, then it doesn't matter. Because you won't have the damage, and you won't be able to walk up ever.
It's definitely one of the lanes where we expected T1 to excel, like just in a 1v1. So, probably not first blood at 2 minutes. Like, we didn't expect that, but definitely one of the lanes where T1 should be winning, as we'll take another look here.
It's really just straightforward, right? Zeus finds his level 2 first, gets full damage, gets his Conqueror procs, and then gets the extra couple of orders in with the transformation. Really nicely done.
Oh, the satchel is big. The root is also a great follow-up. The Ignite is in, and the autos come in as well. As Ziggs 1 was in the air, didn't quite see that, as now Oner's in the bottom side. Guys, what is going on?
They're not going to play the game!
Come on! This is just not fair.
They're not going to be able to play the video game.
What happened to good old-fashioned League of Legends? What is this?
It's done!
Oh, man. Okay, well, Keria's going to pick that kill up as in goes Zeka, trying to take a big trade onto Faker, and, you know, he does win it. They're going to need him.
Well, at least Faker is kind of screwed, so Oner's going to have to come over and help here. Maybe that's an opportunity because his lane is shoving away from him, so he's in a very awkward position. So that's nice. But overall, yeah, this is kind of self-explanatory, no? The Jhin just got a double kill as a Dirk at 4 minutes. Ooh, they know that Oner is there.
Why does Keria have a Dirk already?
Because he has 2 kills, Valdez.
Yeah, I guess he did take both of those, didn't he? The real carry in the bottom side. As Faker, it's going to be fine. You know, they respect this. They know, like, well, how does Life come back in this situation? They're winning a mid.
Yeah,
they've got a Maokai. Just pressure Faker, right? Well, and this all starts with actually life engagement.
Life engages, and then the heal means that Guma is able to sidestep the Rakan engage, and then as a result, Life just gets a run down. Keria, not even with his 4th shot. That's a 3rd shot kill as
Okay,
Faker.
well, here comes Keria. He's trying to get on top of them, as now he's going to be the victim. He doesn't have flash, so he's just going to die. And he does come over, and guess what? He gives a shutdown to Aurelia. So after all that, you know, he keeps Faker alive, I suppose, but he's also going to gift a kill, a shutdown kill to Zeka's Aurelia.
Very important, because if they're not able to get that kill, I think the game is just completely out of control. The game's still very bad, don't get me wrong, but at the very least, you get some kills on what I think is the most important member for this composition. If the Aurelia is highly fed, then Kayn and Clip can just throw their bodies in, make sure the fight starts, and they'll be okay. And the instinct, obviously, is nice here from Keria to try and save Faker. And I actually love this call here because of the vision that they already pre-set up there. Immediately, this is the type of decisiveness that I was really missing from Hanwha Life.
Set up by Clid as well. He's able to get in there, very proactive, flash engage onto the Jhin, understanding that he doesn't have flash. On the side of Keria, of course. It's a great call and great play from Clid and the boys.
The downside is that with Clid spending his time in anywhere that is in top lane is just an invitation for Zeus to get himself further ahead. Already sitting on a 15 CS lead.
Yeah, and you know, we make a lot of jokes about how top lane doesn't matter, and generally, you know, if it's just gonna kind of go even, or, you know, 20 CS gap for 20 minutes, then yeah, it's not gonna have a huge impact, but it does become a problem if, of course, the Jace gets this far ahead.
Yeah, it's also probably the best Jace that we have currently. I'm saying probably, I know I'm saying probably, the best Jace that we have within the LCK, so feeding him, generally not what you want, but the problem is that for Clid, I do actually think that going towards top is bait and should not be done. Because on your other lanes, you have amazing setup. Obviously, trying to actually take down the casting can be very tough. Faker also going for some defensive summoner setups with a spellbook, but towards the bot side of the map, Rakan, Maokai, incredible amount of engage potential there, especially with the Varus to lock them down even further. And there are no cleanses for Guma or Keria. So once CC hits, it will stick, and they will get taken down. And that is something that Hanwha Life is going to need to rely on. They can basically not afford any hesitation, especially when it comes around objective fights in the future. If they hesitate, they get poked down, they are in deep trouble. As long as they don't do that, it should be fine.
Yeah. Keria's here, just supporting Faker. It's definitely going to be an issue as Zeka just goes in for the plate, takes a turret shot and has to flash away. Meanwhile, the Jhin is nearby. Faker definitely looking for this as there's the deadly flourish and Zeka is in some trouble. He's got the shot. Does Keria And a bit of a overextension here from Zeka means that this mid lane is going to get a bit easier.
Well, Faker didn't get the kill, but maybe it's even better that Keria did, I guess. At this point, no, it's not. It should have gone to Kassadin, but you don't really have a choice in that scenario. Obviously, time is very much of the essence. But I just don't know. You know, I'm just going to trust Keria. Going to trust the process. As, again, with the jungle position being known, now see the Herald getting started up, and Zeus just continues his onslaught on the top side of the map.
I don't think they saw Keria there with that sapling. There was no ping from the blue team, only from Keria himself. There is a big rotation up from Life Esports. They're really trying to make this early game lead a thing for themselves and at least pick up some early objectives. Especially with the way the early game has gone, I think this is a nice approach because even though T1 can win in some lanes, I'm not sure if they're ready to 5v5.
Also, Hanwha Life in general on their rotations looking a lot crisper here. I think a problem that we had as... We're going to take a look at this first and then we'll go back, talk about the macro a little bit there. As... Oh, yeah. Zeka, I think, gets pranked, thought that the minion wave was going to walk up just a little bit faster. Then he would have just gotten the plate for free. Instead, gets taken down, unfortunately. Gets surprisingly close. If Life is a couple of seconds earlier, if Clit's there, then they can maybe trade a kill, but not going to be the case. But Hanwha Life... Viper actually peeling off a lot earlier than I've seen him do in the past, so already halfway through realizing there's no contest, so we send Viper back down, and it's these little moments that you can't really afford to give T1, so I'm happy to see Hanwha tightening up their play a little bit from what has been a pretty lukewarm, I'd say, start for a team that had mixed but somewhat high expectations coming into this split.
Faker is just going to hold the one minion. Can do that, it'll put your wave in a slightly better spot. Looks like he might just push it out now with Zeka going back. Zeka does pick up his Blade of the Rune King. So definitely some more all-in potential from him. As we take a look here, he still does have a lead in the mid lane in terms of gold, even though Faker and Keria were able to pick up some of that gold. You'll note that, yeah, Keria is very far ahead because he has taken all of those kills.
Yeah, big one there, of course, is because of the shutdown and the one plate that he got, even though he died for it. Zeka still
worth
looking gold positive, but the big story of this game to me is that Zeus is a 1k gold up without any intervention. Right? That's kind of a disaster. This Jace was picked very much face up.
First.
Literally first picked, and the Cassante not quite working out. Oner might pay a visit here. I don't even think you need to. Is also on a ward, so we do see Hanwha Life immediately responding with Blade towards this dragon. We'll have confirmation now that there is no one in the area, but I think diving Cassante is definitely a risk. However, if Keria and Faker are there, I'm not going to be too worried, and Kingen seems to have gotten the memo.
Yeah.
Plus, if Ghost in his ultimate, I think he might be able to get out here.
He's going to dodge one, dodges a lot actually. He's just playing Frogger at this moment in time, but not sure if he can get out. He's trying to trade onto Faker, gets decently close. And Zeus will take the kill in the end, which will mean a huge chunk of plates in the top side.
Yeah, never mind. He ain't getting out. Nice collapse. Found there by T1. Gumayusi might get caught in the rotation here.
I think Guma's dead. It's okay. There's a Rakan. And Life is like, wait. Okay, so with the TP, we didn't quite see that at first. I thought he was just backing away, letting him live. But yep, TP does come in. They will hold on to the mid turret, but this one will fall at 12 minutes. They'll give the majority of that plate gold to Zeus.
And want to reiterate again that obviously nicely set up there by T1. One of the few times that investing resources in the top half of the map actually pays off, because now Zeus has 2 items at 12 minutes. Oh, one of them isn't transformed yet, sure, but still counts. Insanely accelerated here, as we do see Kingen can sidestep a lot, but can't sidestep anything. Oner making sure that he doesn't provide an opportunity for the Cassante to get out of there. And overall, clean dive from T1 after Oner finds his ultimate. And the individual Ocean Drake not really going to matter, as Faker is casted in, so he's going to walk the Rift and be fine.
Yeah, he's just gone into the Cassante lane. There's not going to be pretty much any kill pressure for K'Sante onto a Kassadin unless Faker went really deep, especially because he's holding Exhaust in his back pocket. So they're just going to send Guma mid, and unless, you know, he gets dove, which is going to be very difficult because, again, Ziggs is really good at clearing waves, as Viper's just going to get ulted here. We'll do a decent amount, but really not much at the end of the day. Maybe zones him out of bot, I suppose. But yeah, Zeus is just getting more plates.
Is he going to get double the gold? Like, is he going to hit that at some point? I'm not joking.
He's going to get another plate here. I think he's going to get 4 in the bottom lane. That's pretty close to 4. Might just be the 3, but that's still 8 plates for Zeus.
Viper, cleanse and flash use in an attempted play. Oner not going to be able to find a kill, but with those summoners on Viper down, he will be a much more susceptible target here, as he's just going to keep going. He's not going to stop Veldes.
Looks like he will give up on his 9th plate of the game.
He's 3.5k gold up.
No, but he gave up on his 9th plate, so...
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to contest any objective? Literally, even Clint and King at this point, I think if they get shock blasted in the face, they're not going to feel too good about it.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Tough time.
This lane, I mean, you can see kind of the idea. Like, Zeus didn't even have to get this far ahead, but because he is as well, you've got the insane lethality damage, and then you also have, you know, if Maokai's going to build a bunch of health, you've got Leandri's Ziggs. And so you kind of cover both bases very early on in the game in terms of your poke damage.
Yeah. Faker going to get his Rod of Ages at 14. Will be able to stack that fully. And Faker is a little behind the curve in this game, obviously playing into the Aurelia, getting some early focus toward him from his opponents as well. So I had to give up a few CS left and right. But the one saving grace for Hanwha is that this gold, yes, it's down, but if you can find a good hard engage, if you can catch T1 off, there we go. Well, that's an example. If you can catch them unaware, once you're on the back line, you still have an incredible amount of power here, but you got to find those engages.
Okay, Smite does go the way of Oner. Lid just standing on top of it, trying to zone them, but the Ziggs is here, and the poke begins, essentially. His life is looking for an engage, but he might just die, as he's going to eat a Sejuani ult in the face. In goes Zeka, though. He's going to isolate Zeus. That is how you defeat a poke comp, is you get right on top of them. And Homolife Esports has been able to do this, as Faker going to flash the wall here, and he will just barely get away, but scary moments. You could see that too when we're like, oh crap, we got to get out of here. But they did still take down the Rift Herald.
Yes, but I'd say it's a favorable trade because, again, Zeka gets the kill. That's the second shutdown that he's been fed. This time around, it's Zeus' shutdown. The downside is you're playing into Ziggs, so actually sieging is pretty excruciating experience. Yeah, just no. But
they do get Drake.
If Hanwha Life is able to pick up a second Drake here, that's big.
Mountain Drake too.
And it's exactly what we talked about. Yes, the poke from T1 is very good, but they have so much hard engage, right? The effective range between Aurelia, Maokai, and the Rakan is incredible. So for T1, it really boils down to, can you play out these initial starts of the fight perfectly? And in that case, Zeus unfortunately gets caught. I'm going to take another look at this because this starts off really bad, right? Because like Rakan, one of your main initiators, just dies basically immediately. Because he tries to protect the eye, then the setup comes down, Sejuani ultimate hits him, but then look at this from Zeus, like what do? Clit literally flash twisted advances, and then Zeka follows up. And that's, again, not even with Rakan there. So T1, they get the objective, but at a pretty hefty cost.
They absolutely do. And I think if this game does continue, yes, they do have Faker on the Kassadin as kind of a late game insurance for sure, but there are still ways, as you mentioned, you know, just press 2, 3, 4 buttons and all of a sudden, you know, it's 5v4 in favor of Homolife Esports. So this game is definitely not in the bag just yet, I wouldn't say. Especially, you know, the Mountain Drake as a solo Drake, gonna feel very great. It's not Notion, but like the extra resistances are gonna feel very nice, especially against Zeus with the lethality builds. T1, they are sitting here on a 4,000 gold lead. we'll see where we go here in the mid game and if they want to start actually contesting some of these Drakes.
I think they're going to have to. As a poke-comp especially, the extra movement speed that is given to the enemy on a Cloud Soul I think is actually really relevant. Question is, will they be in a position? Again, I do think T1 is still in a pretty commanding leader. I think that they should be able to win objective fights. Hold up, TP coming through.
Zeus doesn't have flash. I don't know how he's going to get out of this one. The Sedge ult goes wide, and they are just bullying this Chase so much for getting ahead. As he will get down, Viper's going to take the kill. And, you know, not much happening right now on the map. They're like, oh, let's just get on top of this Jace that doesn't have flash.
Do note that that was a teleport investment from Kingen, and Faker is still farming in the top half of the map. However, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much of that is going to matter when it comes to the upcoming fight, because at this point it looks likely that T1 is going to want a 5v5 for that one anyway. As
trying to get on top of Gume here as the ult will come out, and Kingen may have overstepped his bounds, but was it a bait all along? Faker going to get chained under the turret, and now Clit is here. He's just dead. That's another kill given over to Viper. We'll very gladly thank Kingen for the amazing bait.
Starting to see some messiness here from T1. Taking some unfavorable trades. First, Zeus gets taken down, then now Faker going in deep for a kill when the vision isn't really there, and the backup from the rest of Hanwha Life was timely. And again, despite all this, I think the overall game state is still not too bad for T1, but a couple more of these mistakes and you're gonna run into some issues. Fortunately for them, they do scale very well in terms of AP threats on the team. As yeah, just a nice punish. Do note that Faker does a teleport here, but clearly the call from T1 is not gonna go for it. Even if Oner does hit the ultimate there, it's not gonna matter. Zeus is just 100% dead, right? Like between all the ultimates that they have available, never going to be the case. And then Guma trying to shove the turret here. Kingen initially seems like he's over-aggressing, but crucially, pops his ghost, Clit comes in behind, and if Faker just goes up over the wall there, takes the summoners, take the pressure, then they will be fine. Not going to be the case. And slowly, Zeka, Viper, all of a sudden, in not too bad a position. We also see Zeka already picking up the Spectre's Cowl, so opting heavily into some of this MR that is going to be so valuable. Merc threats as well for him into both Faker, Guma, and Oner.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a massive threat in the side lane. There's not really an answer here for T1, right? Like, is the Jace going to go against the Aurelia? Not great. Is the Kassadin? I mean, maybe he can run effectively, but especially with how fed Zeka is and how great he is at this champion, just straight up, like it's going to be very difficult to handle this. As now he's just going to go for the Baron. Life Esports going to set up the turn.
Yeah, they want to fight. They are looking for a turn here. They have all the tools.
They absolutely do. The poke not necessarily landing there at all. Zeus not going to hit it. Guma not really going to hit it. That's some nice shots from Keria, but now they got to get into the pit as down goes Clit. He is so low, and Zeus is going to get the Baron. Life Esports do not turn. They just decide, okay, we're going to stay on the Baron. And because of that, they just go down. And now Keria's just flashing on them. Viper and Kingen just have to run away with their tail between their legs, and the coordination not there. T1 just roll over them.
I love the call because I thought they were going to turn.
Yeah.
But then they didn't. Well, that's probably game. I'm kind of shell-shocked, Valdez, because as mentioned, like, Zeka has flash, Clit has flash, right? You have the Maokai ultimate. If you can start a fight there, take down Guma or Faker or Zeus right from the get-go, then you're fine.
Yeah. And what's the call here?
Yes, this ult from Clit comes out. You're in a Baron pit. Like, against the poke comp. It's free shooting gallery.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really have to do anything. And this is the moment where I'd expected Hanwha Life to go for the Baron, and the moment that T1 walks up, like,
you turn.
You throw that ultimate out from Maokai, and then you flash after it, whoever you hit, you burst down. That's how you gotta play these fights.
You press all your buttons and you kill 1 or 2 members of T1, and then maybe you take this next Cloud Drake, and then maybe you take the next Baron. You weren't. This isn't the comp that rushes down Baron at 21 minutes.
Maybe that was part of the downfall, because maybe he felt like the Baron was gonna was going down rather a lot faster than they had envisioned. I don't know. I am
maybe they just
a bit baffled.
I think maybe they were stronger than, or they weren't as strong as they thought they were, and they said if we get Baron and we take it, we can push into this poke comp, and they're not going to be able to defend it. I mean, but then again, there's Jace and Ziggs on the enemy team. Maybe they say, okay, if we get Baron, maybe we can dive them, maybe we can really push our lead, but...
Well, it's tough, because I do think a lot of the summoners on T1 were still up in that turn, right? So might have felt like there wasn't really an angle. But if you don't feel like you can turn from that position, then you're also... You can't
don't do the Baron. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. There have been some frustrating calls today, I think.
It's the pressure.
I was getting excited. I thought Homalife had an angle, but...
You try playing against Keria's Jhin.
Yeah, I think they just waffled for like 0.5 seconds too long. And that's all it took. I think Keria was like, okay, I'm just going to open up. But again, like we mentioned, I think Homalife Esports did make it very easy for T1's comp to just shooting gallery them. So we saw the lines. Seems like Homalife did as well. The execution wasn't there. And now T1 are in a very comfortable lead.
Faker's about 10 seconds away.
Yeah.
It's about to happen.
He's going to hit 16 off the rod, and he's going to be in a great spot.
Get your clocks ready.
Uh-oh. Get your Monka...
There we go.
Your favorite Monka emote ready.
Okay, he immediately teleports.
Yeah, here we go. He's level 16, and life is not. And he's also dead. I think he was level 8.
That was underwhelming.
That was a very quick kill.
So who do you vote for POG here?
I don't know.
It's tough, right? Because the obvious vote is Keria.
Yeah, but at the same time, like...
That's kind of the no-brainer, but it was a lot of lost hitting.
I don't like voting for the player who, like, went for the unique pick.
So is it... Well, you do like voting for Keria. Ooh, Faker.
True. Well, there is a Maokai nearby. Can they CC him 100-0? I think he just already into the team. Not 100% sure. Maybe they just got him. Either way, Faker assuming, hey, I'm level 16, I can do whatever I want. And he was right until, well, he ran straight into a tree.
Well, not voting Faker. That one is...
All right, cross that one off the list. Okay.
That makes the decision a little easier.
Wow, Zeka actually flashing away from that one. The Jhin ults on top of Ziggs, on top of Jace. A little bit too scary.
And as abhorrent as the game state is, we keep going back to this because I think T1 have this one in the bag with the lead that they've built for themselves now, right? Even if Homalife do find an engage, they might be poked down so low that at this point, Faker, as long as he builds up a nice Rift Roll, is going to be able to blow up people nonetheless. But with the Hanwha comp, just press all your buttons and hope someone on T1 mispositions does remain a minuscule opportunity. Not a great one, as literally see Life using his W and they're like, okay, he's dead. Goodbye. And he dies.
And I think he chose not to flash. I mean, we're going to watch this again.
Yeah, that's not a lot you can do there, unfortunately. CC chain very nice from Homalife because they have plenty of ways to lock down a target once they are... Oh!
Okay. It's a lot of damage coming in from the Ziggs. Even Clid takes a big chunk. And that's just, you know, one weapon in their arsenal of Poke.
That's the first time I've seen Spear of Shojin on a Jace, I think. At least in the LCK.
Yeah.
Generally, it's just Jax.
Yeah, that was just the Jax item. It's like Spear of Shojin in parentheses, Jax.
Yeah, there was a cheese where you could go and build it on Shyvana, because you just hit 6 and you immediately ult on top of them and then you get like free ease off.
Yeah.
That was fun, but that was not this iteration. That was the old one. It doesn't work anymore,
not the same.
Unfortunately. As Homalife, no, it's not the same. Gonna try and contest, but again, T1 do have an incredible amount of vision, incredible amount of control, so actually finding an angle as Home Alive now should not be a possibility.
So what happens when that poke comp gets ahead, you see Home Alive Esports, they can't even use their engage. The exhaust comes in from Faker on top of Viper, as now we got the turnaround. Massive knockup on a 3, but what does it matter for? Zeka not able to get on in there, and Faker is just a menace in this backline. Zeka is still doing some crazy stuff. Keria gonna land that deadly flourish, and that looks like the last potential fight of the game, as actually they are pinging onto Baron. Maybe they'll just take both at the same time.
Might as well not take the risk, right? Just go for the surefire win. Your poke comp, so your siege with Baron is revolting. As such, T1 are going to be able to... Yeah, I kind of thought they were going to go for both as well, but this dragon is not... It's not a player in this game. It's merely... It's there,
a bystander.
Yeah, it's just watching.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. Things are happening on the Rift. Zeus will free the Baron from distance nonetheless.
You would think he's got a great view, but actually he's just stuck in the dragon pit the whole game.
And he flies, you know, that's the 5 minutes.
I guess so.
As, unfortunately, even with what looks like an amazing one-more combo, Zeka isn't there. Yeah. And if Zeka's there, that might be a turning point. That might be the angle that you were looking for as Home Alive, but missed that exit. And yeah, once you miss your exit, you gotta keep driving. And unfortunately, this road is going nowhere. As Home Alive now facing down. I'm glad you appreciated that joke. I felt like it was a little corny.
No, it's you know, that's very different from what happens in this country. But anyway,
6.5K.
Yeah. Wow, that's a gigantic lead. I mean, Kingen has not really been able to farm because he's just been giving all his farm to his laners, or his carries after the laning phase, and he didn't have much of a laning phase, so here he is, just, I mean, he's level 16.
So what is happening here as well, as we are about to say goodbye to this game?
Hey, Nature's Grasp.
One more try.
We do have the flank coming on in. This could be the angle here for Zeka. Zeus does have a stopwatch, but he's getting dunked on. And there it is, 100 to 0. Home Alive Esports find the angle, and now Keria is also going to get caught out. As Faker and Oner will find an angle here in mid, at least for their sake. Going to take down this inhibitor. Doesn't look like they will get there.
Who's going to win?
Faker's waiting, I think, for the, yeah, you can see the cooldown on the left. He had 4 stacks of his Rift Walk, so he was just waiting just to make sure he didn't run out of mana.
So who's going to win? The best team that Keria has to offer, or a bunch of guys that run really fast and try to just kill you? No backup plan, no plan B.
Yeah, I mean, they run really fast.
They do.
I don't know. It's a hard call. I can't make a decision at this point. Because, I mean, look, right here, they ran really fast at them, including a teleport.
You see as well, this is, as T1 is attempting to try and clear vision. Right? That's the funniest part. They are very aware of the fact that a teleport ward can kind of ruin their day. And Guma spot, or Keria rather spots it. Sorry, it's Jin. I got thrown off. Should have known. And immediately, teleport comes in. And still the gold lead is 9K.
Zeus takes the blue buff. I feel like that should probably go to Faker. Maybe he took the enemy blue buff. Could also put it on the Ziggs. A lot of options.
Hey. Inips aren't down. That's nice.
The game is still not over. You know, you were kind of joking about the, you know, the really fast engage runners or T1. But this is what we were talking about earlier on. It's like, well, you find one engage. It has to be rolled into something. Like the big engage they got there with the teleport flank, like that's good. But as you mentioned, it's still 9,000 gold.
That's a deep flank ward. And only King can go for it. Only one teleport available at the moment. And might give too much time to respond for T1.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go for that one. I mean, there's no Baron at the moment, so just try to stay alive, try not to get poked out. Hold on to your inhibitors for dear life. So Satchel will take down this turret. Can't do much about that.
Peculiar game, VODS. Well, not the first part. That one pretty much as expected, but right now, T1, however, still has so much map control that my expectation is they back here, collectively base, pick up whichever items they feel like, then go towards the dragon, pick that one up, rotate to Baron, get the Baron, and with Baron buff, there is no way that Hanwha should be able to try and defend.
Except with one pesky teleport ward.
Still there. But
that's there. There is also one on the blue buff.
You're not going to use it here, though, right? Like, I wouldn't even mind if Hanwha now, at this point, walks up towards the Baron pit and then tries to get some flank wards down there. Because this dragon, if it's gone, it's whatever. Even if the soul goes to T1, like, you're not really going to be able to change a lot about that. But if you can get a teleport or to flank down, then you're in a great spot. And I actually really like we see this as well. T1, like, Keria is already there right now to set up vision so that when they do go to Baron, they're not going to get caught off guard. On the contrary, that's a Faker teleport flank ward, which he doesn't need, but
yeah,
you know, if he wants to.
Could happen. Could definitely happen. And there will be the issue of Faker in a side lane as well. Like, the Aurelia can probably match him, but if it is just Cassante, you know, somebody's got to deal with the side lane pressure while Faker does have teleport. Could kind of mess with Hanwha Esports' plans for getting that perfect engage that they might need.
Kingen also going for the Anathema is my assumption that he has thrown that on top of Zeus. Yeah, is on Zeus. So Kingen basically can now go for as much MR randomization as he wants and not care. Because Zeus, the sole AD source, well, relevant. Obviously, Keria has an AD threat.
But he has a cloth armor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think your point still stands.
Well, I would like to see him go full MR into the T1 comp, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Considering it's Jace and everybody else is basically AP unless you're counting Keria. As Faker in the side lane, he does have stopwatch. Will give him a little bit of time, but the CC is just a bit too much. It looks like the charm's coming in. He will flash, and he does get away as a bunch of ults were used to try to lock down the Kassadin. But he will survive.
Bit disjointed here by T1. As the poke does land, but health bar is not going to be as low as... Big one from Zeus there. Keria shooting.
The Jhin ult is pretty big. He doesn't quite have the angle okay. He is going to miss onto Kingen. As now TP from Faker back into this mid lane. Back into this fight. And with Cloud Rift and 3 Cloud Souls, they are going to be zooming around the map. It's actually going to help them, you know, potentially get away from some of these engages of Hanwha Esports. Especially when they don't have any ults.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hanwha, they still weren't able to get either a ward down, thanks to G1 keeping up with them, or get a engage with Faker still surviving. So now you lose Baron, and yeah, you've delayed a little bit, but G1 should be able to just siege it down from here on out. But I gotta say, this Hanwha is very clear from the Hanwha that we saw in the first few weeks of the LCK. Is it 100% clean? No, obviously not, but team very clearly is aware of what they need to do in the current game state, and game, even though this is a 10k gold deficit, still not over.
Yeah, still waiting for T1 to really find a good angle. We've talked so much about how Hanwha do have some options, even as the game does come along. So I think in T1's mind, you know, especially the way the last couple of fights have gone, they're just trying to take every single precaution possible.
Yeah.
And really not get caught off because they understand the danger as well. Hanwha is the danger in this case.
It's like, we're sweepering, we're using Umbroglaive. Oh, that's too deep. That's
Look at Jonas Strong. He's like, okay, where are the wards?
This is amazing.
There's a couple there. There's one.
That's the big one. But they know, because that one is actually blocking vision.
There was one in the lane.
So that one T1 is aware of.
In the top lane, but they cleared it. Okay, see, this is the issue. Like, K'Sante can live, but he can't stop Faker. So Faker's just taking 2 inhibitors for free. And K'Sante can't do anything about it. I mean, okay, they are going to have the team rotate over now, and Faker doesn't have Zhonya, so that's going to be a kill onto the Kassadin. As inhibitors are going down, and there is that flank TP. Zeka's over the wall. Oner with a nice interrupt, but it's not going to be enough, as there is the kill. They get on top of the Ziggs. Half-Life Esports, they find a way to win this team fight, as Oner will eventually go down, and a couple of members of T1 will survive, but Half-Life Esports will hold on.
And even with all of T1's best efforts at trying to ensure that they get rid of every single ward, they don't. Faker going down again here, this Rakan from life. I know his KDA might not look like it, but to me he's actually been such a big reason as to why Half-Life is still in this game. He's the one getting the combos down on Faker every single time, and crucially Faker doesn't get that mid inhibitor. And as a result, map pressure still not amazing here, as this time Kingdom sets it up, Life knocks him down. Faker doesn't get the opportunity to use his Zhonyas or do anything really, and then Zeka here very cleanly flashes over the wall, takes down Guma, and as a result, this push from T1 going to be stifled yet again. Oner goes down as well, and we're still in the game.
Still in this
game. I felt
game.
like
still anybody's game.
But it really is, and it's weird looking at the gold, but at this stage, it doesn't really matter that much, as Faker is a man on a mission.
Yeah, it really just comes down to who's going to execute these team fights better.
And like I said, I actually think that for Half-Life, your team fighting is so much more straightforward, so much easier. For T1, there are a lot more loose conditions where if you execute it perfectly, I do think you're in a great spot. Although, at this point in the game, I don't even know if that's true anymore, right? Because Half-Life has basically reached item parity as well. He's so fast.
They're very fast.
Let him go.
That is what 4 Cloud Drakes and a Cloud Soul will do.
Oh, he's also Jace, right? So he also has the gate. Let him go.
He's so fast. And now he's in the top lane.
He just skirted around the rift.
Yeah.
No, that was a walk from base.
That took about 10 seconds.
He doesn't need teleport anymore.
Yeah.
This new tech.
What? What is going on? Well, he just casts his ult, so, you know, he gets a little boost, right? And, he's very scary. There's a lot of guys, actually, well, there's 2 that will really benefit from this, the Jace and the Kassadin, who, you know, they're going to get in and they're going to get out, basically, whenever they cast their ult. As Faker is in the bottom side here, you see that teleport is down for Zeka. Definitely the teleport you do want to use. K'Sante flanks can work as well, just as, I'm going to hold that thought, they are trying to set up onto Faker here once again, as he has not been having a fun time, and he will get charmed and knocked up. There is the chains. He's got Zhonya's this time.
That's Flash, just got to stall.
Flash as well, he's just ulting away, and one arrow does hit him, and the entire team is in the enemy base. So that's 3 inhibitors down now, and a Baron coming up in 50 seconds.
So this one is calculated, right? T1 very aware, even though it was very close. Even in the scenario where Faker ends up dying there, T1 is able to get the triple inhibitor, so as a result, there is no way out of the base here for Half-Life, who are still clinging on to this game. This is mental fortitude. Very impressive here, Valdes.
Yeah.
I feel like a broken record because we've been talking about this.
Do you want to talk about Half-Life's win conditions again?
The same thing just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Which is, T1 tries to shove, right? And then someone, it can be Faker, it can be Zeus, gets caught, and then they get an objective, and then they back off. Because Half-Life is looking for a hard engage. And then they base, they come back, they hit some poke, they start to push. Although double teleport's used now.
There's
Live setting up shop. Yeah, they can TP into the base. Although
but no, there's Nexus turrets available. Viper's getting pretty low. Redemption gonna be huge, by the way. That was picked up here as now the flank comes in. Sejuani ultimate in there, and they are once again in the shooting gallery. Please turn this time out, Life Esports. Will you turn? It's going to be Varus who picks up the Baron as Faker's just going to delete the Rakan. The damage is huge from the side of Faker. Can he do it all alone? It's kind of Faker versus Zeka here. As the damage from Zeka is trying to get on top of Zeus, but he will go down to the GA. And unfortunately now he is all alone and will eventually get taken out. There's the TP as T1 finally will break the backs and will break the base of Life Esports.
And after an exhausting chess match, in the end, Life feel obliged to go in there. If they don't get that Baron, if they don't fight for it, I think you lose the game anyway with 3 inhibitors down. There's no way that you can hold. And T1, 43 minutes. How long it took them to get here.